Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here today to talk Fallout 4. More specifically, we're here to talk about Fallout 4's DLC, because we now have official details on the first 3 pieces of DLC. That's right, the first 3 pieces. Also details on what we can expect regarding DLC moving into the remainder of 2016 for Fallout 4. Also some stuff with the Season Pass. There's going to be a pretty reasonable lengthy discussion about that in this video, and then we're also going to talk briefly about the update to survival mode that is going to be coming in the very near future. So let's start with the the good stuff, I guess you can say, and that of course is these first 3 pieces of DLC that we now have proper details on. Starting in March and running through May, we're going to see first the Automatron DLC. Now, these are all the prices that I'm going to talk about are going to be in USD. If you want to see prices for Great Britain as well as for Australia, I will have a link in the description below that will take you to the official Bethesda page, which will give you all the information you need. So, the first piece of DLC coming in March, no exact date for it yet, is called Automatron, March 2016. Basically, it's going to give you the ability to have a robot companion. You're going to be able to mod and create your own robot companion by hunting down and harvesting their parts to build them from scratch. Yeah, that's right. There's going to be custom paint schemes. You're going to be able to choose their voices. They've got armor abilities. You can mix limbs and mods. It sounds completely amazing. And the idea of roaming about in the brand new survival mode with my own robot companion definitely gives me the start of some reasons to return to Fallout 4. Moving forward in April, we have Wasteland Workshop, which will net you will run you $4.99, and will net you a bunch of new modifications for the workshop itself. You'll actually have the ability to design and set cages to capture live creatures, including raiders, deathclaws. You can tame them, you can have them face off in battle. It's essentially Fallout 4's version of Pokemon / Thunderdome. And that's just completely awesome. There's also a bunch of other new stuff going on for settlements. There's going to be new lighting, letter kits, taxidermy they talked about. Just basically a big, juicy overhaul, or update, I guess you could say, to the settlement system. Always awesome. More reasons to spend more time building awesome stuff in your settlement. Make that a perfect sideshow display for your local Deathclaw population. Moving forward, we have what is going to be the largest piece of DLC, and what also Bethesda is claiming to be the largest new area they've ever added to one of their games, and that is Far Harbor. Far Harbor. It's going to be $24.99. That's going to be launching in May. We've got some teaser images you guys are seeing right here. What I like is how they've actually taken the time to create little box art style artwork for each of the images. Wicked cool. So this is actually going to be a new case that is going to be given to you from Valentine's detective agency. It's going to have you on the search for a young woman in this secret colony of synths. So yeah, I'm on board for that. I like everything that's kind of happened with the synths in the game. I'd like to know more about them. If this has anything to do with Nick Valentine, that'd be awesome. But they're talking about new dungeons, creatures. We've got new faction quests. There's going to be new armor and weapons. Really interested to see what direction they take all of this. Because, like I said, just because it's a big new area doesn't mean they don't also have to give us new tools and new toys to play with in the sandbox. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. While we do have details for all these things, I would say Far Harbor is the one that we have the least amount of information on. We know the general story, but in terms of what's actually going to be there, what we're going to be able to do, if there's any new features or gameplay components, that's all still under wraps, and it looks like we'll have to wait until May, or possibly not, because it turns out Bethesda is also going to be running closed betas for each of these add-ons on console as well as on PC. You can actually sign up right now. I will have the link down in the description below. Basically, access to beta test this stuff. It's odd, I'm going to be completely honest, that a single-player game has us beta testing their content. I don't know what to say to this. I mean, usually the primary point of a beta test is to get feedback on like core mechanics at a very early stage, which would be more often considered an alpha test, to get feedback on server problems, server issues, connection issues, and a multiplayer style experience. But this is a single player game that's already seen its initial release, and they're letting us beta test stuff for it. So hopefully Bethesda's just looking to iron out a lot of those bugs that they've been so well known for in past game entries to make sure that each piece of DLC has the best possible launch. Either way, it's an ability for you and I to possibly play some of this stuff before we even spend any money on it. And that's what we need to talk about next, the Season Pass. So what they're saying is that these are just the first 3 pieces of DLC. There's actually more coming. They have plans for more stuff, new Fallout adventures and features that they're going to be pushing out all the way through 2016. What they're saying is that this is worth more than $60. So because they've expanded their DLC plan, they're raising the price of the season pass from $29.99 to $49.99, a $50 season pass. Now this is happening on March 1st, 2016, so you've got a week or so before that price goes up. Of course, very smart marketing move by Bethesda, because this means everyone's going to run out and purchase the season pass. In fact, as we speak right now, on Steam, the season pass is one of the top selling games right now, even though it's not a game. It's a season pass. It gives you access to DLC, some of which you know about, some of which you don't know about. Now, we can argue all day long about what's right and what's wrong about this, but I think the fact that there's so much confusion surrounding all of this, the fact that there are so many unknowns for the consumer, is enough evidence that season passes are no bueno. I like how it's so fitting, right, that we are supposed to be expected to buy into something like a season pass to save a few bucks over buying each of the DLC individually and not know what any of it is, not actually know the true value or the true worth of it. But as soon as Bethesda, as soon as any of these companies decide, oh, hey, you know what? We've decided that's worth a little bit more than it originally was going to be worth. We're going to raise the price. They can just go ahead and do that. And that is the problem with something like this. You're announcing the ability for players to purchase something that doesn't even exist. The developers themselves don't even know what its current worth is, and this is everything wrong with season passes. It is why I absolutely loathe them. I despise them. They are so anti-consumer, they make me want to vomit. Why should I be punished for buying each piece of DLC individually? It's purely something that benefits the publisher and the developer. There's no benefit to the consumer for a season pass. Because you know what? It shouldn't cost more to buy the DLC individually. It should cost the exact same price. If you want to sell the DLC in a package just for convenience down the line, okay, that's fine. But if I purchase the DLC individually, I should not be punished by having to pay more than someone who buys it in a season pass. It's just the most ridiculous anti-consumer business practice ever, and we buy into it again and again. Stop buying season passes, people. Enough. Do not buy them. Just don't. Don't buy this season pass just because it's going to be cheaper now. Don't buy it at all. If you really want the DLC, buy it individually. I know that sounds ridiculous, pay more for something, but it's actually the one instance where it's the only way that they're going to stop shoving these things down our freaking throat, trying to make it seem like we're saving money. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of something that game developers and publishers would be very sickened by. The fact that when you go to a GameStop, they sell you a used copy of a game for $5 less, and people actually pay $5 less for a used game. You know what happens with that money? None of it goes to the developer. None of it goes to the publisher. That's one of the biggest problems with used game sales. And at the end of the day, the dude who traded that game in, you don't even want to know how much he got for it. He probably got $12 for a game they're now selling to you for $5 less than the price of the brand new game. I hate season passes. There's a whole big juicy discussion to have about them. I really, really don't like them. As I said, I believe they are one of the purest forms of anti-consumerism, and I like nothing about this. I will be buying the DLC individually. I don't care if I pay $10 to $15 more. Anything to stop supporting these dreaded, disgusting, revolting season passes. Okay. Let's move forward and close it out with something a little bit happier. I didn't want to end on the season pass note because I knew that would be a sad thing. And let's end on a happy note. Now, we do know that the creation kit as well as the updated survival mode are also currently being tested, and they're going to be announcing details about them hopefully very soon. Now, these are the things that I'm really excited about. Obviously, the creation kit means mods, which means I'll finally pick up Fallout 4 and actually start playing it on the PC. Because I'm really looking forward to mods. I'm looking forward to Fallout 4 turning into more of a wonderful RPG sandbox, the kind of thing that I really loved when I replayed Skyrim with mods. On top of that, the brand new survival mode I think is going to help feed into that. Now, they're looking to do a survival mode is to really make it a proper survival mode, almost a hardcore mode akin to what was in Fallout New Vegas. So they're talking disease, food, sleep. Like, when they said disease, I was happy. Like, let's be honest, Fallout New Vegas' hardcore mode was pretty bare bones as well. I mean, we had, you know, some more prominent effects from food, and stims took longer, and you needed water, but it still wasn't really as hardcore mode really should be. And it actually sounds like they're trying to make survival mode into a proper survival mode. I mean, having to deal with disease and food and sleep and water, like, I love the sound of all of this, and I think that will be the moment when I revive the Adventure Time series. We'll bring back Adventure Time, it'll be better than ever, and it will revolve around the survival mode and having to get food and water. It'll just make each episode of Adventure Time a little bit more intense, a little bit more Stalker-esque, and I'm so on board for that. That's the stuff that I want to see Bethesda doing. I want to see them, you know, updating the game, improving it, and making it better. You know, I had a small discussion with Camel of Camelworks. Him and I actually were a little bit confused at first. Initially, when we thought about it, we're like, you know, it's just so weird to make these changes after. But at the same time, it's like, no, it does kind of make sense. Like, it's, you know, they're updating the game. They're doing what I always say I want to see developers do with large expansions. They're taking the game places they didn't take it at launch. They know a large portion of the player base is chewed through the core game now, and they're ready to go back and play it again, but they want to have a different experience. And Bethesda's like, well, we can do that by changing large portions of the game. Like, we can revamp survival mode. You know, we can do things differently. We can bring in more RPG elements. We can make it almost a different game and give people a reason to pick it up again, to start playing it again, and of course, in turn, to start buying our DLC. So, a lot of woes and a lot of woes here. There's a bit of everything. I'm excited. I think each piece of DLC that we see here, Automatron, Wasteland Workshop, and Far Harbor, all sound really awesome. Obviously, we know very little about Far Harbor. I'm excited to learn more about that. But Automatron, I mean, you've got me sold. I like the updates to Wasteland Workshop. I don't know that that's something I'm personally interested in, although Pokemon in Fallout does actually kind of really intriguing when I think about it. I'll be going with the Mole Rat because that's probably the closest thing to Pikachu. And the Automatron update just sounds worth every single penny to me. Like, I can just imagine the amount of time I'm going to spend building robots. Like, I liked Power Armor in Fallout 4, I really did, but your Power Armor doesn't really have personality. The idea of being able to, instead of Power Armor, build a robot that's going to work alongside of you, especially as someone who's playing like a recon / you know, sniper type character, it just sounds so freaking awesome. I mean, what's better to tank for you than a freaking pet robot? Like, come on. Bethesda's doing some cool stuff. There's, like I said, there's some ups and downs with all of this. I don't even really want to blame them for the season pass. It's just people keep buying season passes. As a business, you know, as a developer and a publisher, why not cash in on that? It just makes sense as a business perspective. I just wish that a studio and, you know, that I really, you know, care about, they create content that I really love, wouldn't be just hopping on the bandwagon for season passes and shoving them down our throats. But it is what it is. You know, look at it your own way. Everybody's got their own opinion on season passes. Not really here to butt heads on it. It's just, that's my thought. Let me know what you guys think about the DLC, more importantly. That's rather what I hear about. I mean, like I said, season passes are a plague, and no one's going to get me to change my mind on that. But if you want to tell me how you feel about these first 3 pieces of DLC, which one excites you most, more specifically, is what I would like to hear. Are you looking forward to the Wasteland Workshop? Are you looking forward to building your own pet robot? Or are you looking forward to exploring a brand new land in Far Harbor? Let me know down in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next one.